Hello, listeners. Today we are discussing a crucial civic exercise that affects every single one of us. This exercise directly impacts the growth, development, and future of our district. The House Listing Operations and Housing Census, which marks Phase 1 of the Census of India 2027, has officially commenced across all the districts of Nagaland as of July 1st, 2026, and this will run until July 30th of 2026. Now, over this 30-day period, census functionaries will be visiting every household and will ask questions pertaining to the household. I'm your host Moamar, and joining us in the studio today to clear the air and guide us through this process is our special guest, Alemsongla Jamir, who is a field trainer of Census 2027. Welcome to our studios, ma'am, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, to kick things off, ma'am, could you give our listeners a brief introduction to the overall operation? As in, what are the core goals and how is it currently being rolled out on the ground?
Okay, now the overall operation of Census of India 2027 is divided into two phases. Phase 1, which is focusing on house listing and housing census. Phase 2 is to do with population enumeration. Now, this is the phase 1 of the Census of India 2027. And as you have mentioned earlier, this has started on July 1 and this will conclude on July 30th, 2026.
Okay.
Now, during this 30-day period, trained census functionaries, we call it enumerators and supervisors, they'll be visiting every single household in Kohima district. They'll be asking exactly 34 questions covering housing characteristics, basic amenities, and the assets available to each household.
Okay, so basically these 34 questions will be similar to the questions that were filled up during the self-enumeration process.
Yes, that will be the same questions.
All right. Well, that gives a really clear picture of the scale of this initiative. Now, for the public tuning in, community support is always vital for an operation like this to succeed. So what is the public's role in this? And what are some of the key do's and don'ts that people should keep in mind to support the cause effectively?
Well, to ensure a smooth and accurate process, public has to keep these essential do's and don'ts in mind. For do's, I think public have to verify the identity card of the visiting officials because when they come in, they'll come with an identity card.
Okay.
So the household have to, verify whether this is official from the census. Also, public have to ensure that an adult is available to interact with them and cooperate fully by providing accurate details about your building, family assets, and utilities. Also, another thing is that public have to allow them to properly number your house when they come because they would request you to affix your building number in the building itself.
Okay.
So this is something that the public has to be, aware that you have to allow them.
Okay.
Then when it comes to what are some things that the public have to be aware when it comes to don'ts. First is do not panic about data leakage because as mentioned earlier, they'll be asking 34 questions. Mm-hmm. And so, at times public may be apprehensive about the data that has been shared.
True.
So public have to know that you don't have to, worry about the data leakage because the HLO app is fully secure and confidential under the Census Act 1948.
Okay.
And another thing is public should not hide information, or provide false data or allow double enumeration at two different locations. Mm-hmm. Because this also, there are penalties as per Census Act 1948.
Okay.
Finally, please don't misbehave with the functionaries or ask to inspect census records because these are all confidential records. So they will not share all these details with you.
All right. And I think you have also very clearly, cleared this apprehension regarding the insecurity with the data leakage. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much for that as well. Mm-hmm. Now moving on to the general participation. Is it absolutely mandatory for everyone to take part in this census?
Yes, it is. Participation is completely mandatory under the Census Act 1948. So, as citizens, our primary obligations are to allow census functionaries enter your homes. You also have to permit them to paint the official census number on your house and provide accurate information to the best of our knowledge.
Okay. Now, because we have also, come across instances where public, they just take it casually. They say that, I think it's not important, it's not going to affect anything. So that is not true.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
Because it is mandatory as per Census Act 1948.
All right. Then what will happen if someone decides to purposely give false information to the enumerator?
Well, I think that is a very serious offense. Deliberately providing false data violates Section 11 of the Census Act 1948. And, this can make an individual liable for penalties or legal persecution.
Then moving on to the process, the data collection. When the enumerator arrives, what exactly will they be asking? And do the public they need to pull out any documents, or do they have to display any IDs or land deeds to prove their answers?
No documents are required. The public, you do not need to show any proof to the enumerators.
Okay.
They will just take down the particulars exactly as you state them. Though we expect everyone to be honest and accurate, in total, the enumerators, they will be asking 34 questions covering housing characteristics, basic amenities, and the assets available to your household.
And there is also a common concern floating around regarding land and indigenous rights. A lot of people are asking, if we register our census data here in Kohima, will we lose our indigenous rights or land rights back in our native village? So can you help us, bust this myth as well?
Well, this is a very important myth to bust. The reality is that census registration simply maps your current residence. Okay, it has absolutely nothing to do with land ownership or tribal lineage. Registering in Kohima will leave your customary rights in your native village completely untouched.
That clears about everything regarding this myth. And also, yes, you have explained about the apprehension regarding the data leakage, information leakage.
Mm-hmm.
But there are instances where people, they feel like, not participating in this operation is not going to have any serious implications, especially with regard to the development of the area or of their own respective wards. How big an impact is it going to have should they not participate in this operation?
I think as a citizen, it is our duty to participate in census, because ultimately whatever data that we give, this will help in the government making policies, coming up with different welfare schemes for the, your state or the town that you're living in.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would suggest, or rather I would request the citizens to come and participate in this census 2027.
Well, moving on, ma'am, regarding the counting of household, where exactly should a person be counted? And how do we handle family members who are away, like students living in another state, or a son or a daughter working or posted in another district or another place?
Well, under the law, it says that you must be enumerated at your place of ordinary residence. What I mean by ordinary residence, it means where you currently live, sleep and work. So for students or family members away in another state, or maybe students living in hostel, for example. Now, if they have been gone for more than 6 months, or they intend to stay away for that long period, like 6 months and more, then they will be counted at their hostel or place of stay, not at home. Because as per the census directives, the resident to be counted would be someone who stays at a particular place for a major portion of the year, that is 6 months and more.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever you are staying for more than 6 months, you have to be enumerated there.
All right. And what about the tenants renting a house? Do they have to self-enumerate, or can the landlord just fill out the details on their behalf?
No, here also no, landlords cannot fill it out for them.
Okay.
Tenants must be enumerated independently, as separate, distinct households at their current place of residence. Here, I would like to just add something more. The actual owner of the building, at times they may be wondering, like, I'm the owner, whereas how come, the tenant has to enter for themselves?
Okay.
So in the 34 questions, one of the question is on the ownership of the building.
All right.
And so there are different codes. So one is whether it's owned by that particular household or whether it's rented. So
Okay.
if it's a tenant, then they will say it's rented. So there's no fear for the original, house owner that, they have been, misled.
Okay.
Enumerators have been misled.
With regard to the ownership of the building.
With regard to the ownership of the building.
All right.
Because I think here in Kohima, we do have, many buildings where the actual owner is elsewhere, but then tenants staying in the,
Yes.
apartments. So just for that, yeah.
All right. I think you have very clearly clarified this doubt regarding the ownership of the building and the tenants residing there. Now, moving on to the methods of enumeration, what are the different ways citizens can get counted for Census 2027?
For Census 2027, there are two methods available. The first method is called the canvasser method. And so what is this canvasser method? Here, the enumerator, they will physically visit your house and record your details directly into a secure mobile app by interviewing you.
Okay.
And so in this mobile app, all those 34 questions are there. So they will be asking you questions using the mobile app.
Okay.
Then we have another method. The second method is called the self-enumeration method. So here you can log into the official self-enumeration portal and fill out your information yourself. Now, for our state, the self-enumeration method has already passed because it started last month from 16 to 38.
Right.
So, if you have chosen this online route, if you have self-enumerated, then all you have to remember is that you must hand over your self-enumeration ID to the enumerator when they visit your house to validate it.
Okay.
Now, this self-enumeration ID, it comprises of 11 digits and which is prefixed by one alphabet. Okay. Now, regarding this, I just want to add something. Recently, since the operations already started, so some enumerators, when they visited, just an instance that I want to share.
Okay.
It was found that some household that they visited, especially where elderly parents are staying, their children have already self-enumerated.
Okay.
And when the enumerator went, they had no idea about it. And so they have entered all the details. And so there has been double entry. And so we would like to request, viewers or listeners that if at all you have self-enumerated, then if you are not available, kindly make, known to any member of the household and leave the, self-enumeration ID with whoever stays at home so that, there will be no double entry and no confusion.
Right, right. Following up, for such instances, how can this be corrected? Can this be corrected for double entries?
No, double entry cannot be corrected.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why one has to be very careful.
We have to avoid that in the first place.
Avoid that in the first place.
All right.
And if at all there has been some, discrepancy in the process, then the enumerators have to take it up to the charge officers and they will look into that.
Okay. Now, if the 30-day period is coming to an end and an enumerator still hasn't visited a household, who should the family contact?
You may contact the concerned enumerator of your enumeration block, supervisor, or the charge officer. You may contact Office of the Principal Census Officer and Deputy Commissioner Kohima if the need arises.
Okay, ma'am. The last question. What are the obligations of the public under the Census Act?
Citizens are obligated under Census Act 1948 to firstly allow census functionaries, that is the enumerators, to visit their house. And secondly, allow painting or affixing of house number on their house. And finally, give correct information to the best of his or her knowledge and belief.
Okay. So then, as we begin to wrap up, the house listing operations and housing census phase 1 have officially kicked off across all the districts of Nagaland on July 1st and will run until July 30th. Before we let you go, ma'am, what are your final closing remarks? And what is your direct message to the citizens, the village authorities, and ward authorities tuning into this program?
Well, I would like to request all stakeholders, like, the village authorities or ward authorities, to give their full support to the census officials, the enumerator supervisors, and to the citizens. I would like to, just say this, that you have to kindly provide the most credible source of information, because the information that you gave will be laying the foundation for building our nation.
Okay. Quite an incredibly vital reminder for all of us here in Kohima district that accurate data means ensuring our community gets its fair share of development, welfare funds, and infrastructure in the future. Let's all do our part, verify our visiting enumerators, and extend our full cooperation over the next 30 days. Remember, your data is completely confidential and protected under the Census Act. I would like to thank our guest, Alemsongla Jamir, for joining us today and shedding light on this massive exercise. Thank you so much for your time, ma'am.
Thank you.
And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. This has been your host, Moamar, and until next time, stay informed and stay cooperative.